municipals and the senior citizens. And also the one manual certificate of canvass for the 63 barangays of North Cotabato. Again, we are also waiting for the electronic transmission of the certificate of canvass, one for the completion of BARM, that is Lanao del Sur, the completion likewise of the COC for Amman, Jordan. As we had stated yesterday po, ang nangyari kasi, they were here with the CD. Unfortunately, the CD does not contain any data, and that's why the Special Board of Canvassers for Amman, Jordan, Philippine Embassy will come here bringing with them the laptop so that we could directly extract the results and upload it in our monitoring system. Ulitin ko lang din po, hindi rin in the first place nakapag-transmit si Amman, Jordan because the host country, of course that's Jordan, did not permit us to bring into the country the broadband global area network. So nag-manual generation po doon, dinala sa bansa natin together with the CD, but unfortunately, yun nga po, walang laman yung CD. Again, it's more procedural, not necessarily technical. Procedural lang po. We are also looking into the possibility, and the NBOC is studying that, if we could go ahead with the transmission of the Hong Kong COC. Again, the Hong Kong COC is composed of the results for Macau, results for Hong Kong itself, and mainland China. Unfortunately, in mainland China, yung nga po yung problem natin, yung Shanghai. They're still under lockdown. We have to conduct special elections. We're now studying the possibility of having to transmit all those unaffected by Shanghai. Okay, going into the 19 manual COCs, nandito na po sa atin sa National Board ang COCs ng India, Laos, Pakistan, Hungary, Poland, and Chile. So we expect to canvass these 6 COCs today. We're still awaiting the overseas COCs of Bangladesh, Dhaka Post or Bangladesh, Myanmar, Timor-Leste, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Norway, Vatican, Iran, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Syria, and Mexico. So those 13 plus the 6 we have already accounts for the 19 manual COCs for overseas voting. So doon po sa ating canvas report number 4, which will be distributed to you later in the day, we have already canvassed that already covers, where is it? Apologies. That already covers the 65 million, 54 million, sorry, 65,246,433 registered voters. Yan na po yung coverage ng canvas natin. And out of that total number of registered voters, voters who actually voted po ay nasa 54,192,824 or a turnout of 83.05%. So again, we have to state across the board, consistent po na nabibreach natin yung 80% mark on the total number of voters who actually voted. On another note, the PPCRV made a statement that they have received almost half of the election returns that it will be submitted to them. So that accounts for 45,135 ERs already in their possession. Of that figure, na-encode na po nila. Yun ang procedure po nila, no? From the physical, the hard copy, they will be encoding that. Nakapag-encode na po sila ng 30,727 election returns. Out of that, we have a 30,235 election returns na 100% match doon sa transmitted election returns. Meron lamang pong konti, 240 of those that I've mentioned ay nagkaroon ng variance or what they call mismatches. It accounts for 1.61%. Pero nothing to worry about because the PPCRV itself made a statement, one, if ever there is a variance, this would not affect the results of the election contest, specifically the national positions. These are their statements that I'm reading po, ano? Secondly, the mismatch is now undergoing validation. The process that they will be doing are threefold. First, they will review it manually. That's the first step, dun sa 240. Second, they will revalidate it from their sources, their own people. And third, if they had already determined the cause, kung nag-match na or whatever po yung finding, they will reprocess it. Again, to quote the PPCRV, ang possible reasons daw po ng mismatch, this does not come from COMELEC, ano? This is coming directly from PPCRV. The possible causes of mismatch is one, the volunteers cannot read the numbers clearly. That's the first possibility and to account for the mismatch. Kasi nga po, again, it's the manual, the physical election returns that they are encoding. Number two, ang sabi rin po ng PPCRV, sometimes their volunteers make mistakes in reading the numbers because they are already tired. Tao lang po. At they are going into two shifts, 24-hour operation. Hindi po matawaran ang paglilingkod ng volunteers ng PPCRV. Volunteers po sila. They are receiving no payment. Kaya nga po, institutionalized yung process ng PPCRV to validate in case there are mismatches. But then again, across the board, doon po sa pinaprocess ng PPCRV, the matching rate remains at a high of 98.40%, and we expect that the 240 mismatches will be resolved the soonest. Yan naman po mangyayari. Again, for emphasis, for the rest, for the others, 100% match pa rin po sila. So aside from those that I've mentioned na po, yun yung kakanvas natin today. Again, I would like to siguro to end the short briefing for this blessed Sunday on a good note para po sa ating mga miyembro ng electoral boards na napaka-tiyaga at napakasipag magsilbi, lalo na po yung nakaranas ng delay because of the VCM issues. Natanggap na po namin ang liham ni Secretary Briones, also asking for additional honoraria for those members of the electoral boards, as well as DepEd supervising officers and support staff who have experienced delay on account of the VCM issues. Bilang naman po namin sila, accounted po sila, and we know who we will give this additional honoraria to. Again, this is not overtime pay, as overtime pay is not allowed. At hindi rin po ito across the board, not for all electoral boards. Doon lamang po sa affected ng VCM issues at inabutan sila ng delay on account of that. So that would be it for our updates today. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rex. First to ask question is Ms. Mab Gonzalez, GMA7. Ms. Mab, to be followed by Mr. Paulo Barcelon, CNN Philippines.
Hi sir, related po dun sa additional honoraria for the electoral boards, ang request daw po ng DepEd ay 3,000 pesos. Can you confirm this, sir?
Further letter, yes, it is a 3,000 peso additional honoraria. But then again po, the amount will be subject to the availability of funds and of course, in accordance with accounting and auditing rules. May sinusunod po kasi kaming rules when it comes to that.
Tapos sir, sa canvassing naman po, kanina po nabanggit ni Com George na he expects by Tuesday makakapag-proclaim na ng lahat ng senators and party list. Ito pa rin po ba yung timeline natin?
Yes, ma'am, we are on track with our timeline. Yan po talaga yung projection namin, ano? Given that, sabi naman po namin senior early next week, and Tuesday is still early next week, we really hope to receive the others. Per latest information of the Overseas Voting Committee, in transit naman na po. So we're just waiting for them to arrive based on their travel times po.
Sir, last na lang po. Sir, paano pong gagawin nating proseso sa proclamation? Are we going to do by batch or gusto po natin isang buo for the senators and how about for the party list po?
As usual po, in order to maintain minimum public health standards, we have to separate po yung proclamations ng senators and party list. In-approve po ng ating committee, ng supervisory committee and the oversight committee na sa senators-elect, they have 3 companions. So that's practically 4 already times 12. Kasama pa po tayo, kasama pa po kami, so we really have to separate the party list. Then again po, yung party list po, dahil nga po dun sa completion ng total number of party list votes, we are entertaining the possibility of proclaiming the top-tiered party list, meaning yung mga matataas po yung nakakuha ng boto na hindi na maaring maapektuhan dun sa distribution and application of formula nung hindi pa dumarating na party list votes. Kasi napailiwanag ko na po, total number of party list votes is really the basis.
Sir, sorry. Clarification lang po. Sa senators, sabay-sabay po ba silang 12 or may uunahin po tayo?
12 po sila pagdating sa senators po. Once lang po nangyari yung naghiwalay, I think that's 2013 elections. But for the rest of the elections, all 12 po will be proclaimed.
Thank you, sir.
And congratulations po dun sa Angel Cave kagabi.
Thank you, Ms. Mab. Mr. Paulo Barcelon, CNN Philippines, to be followed by Ms. Camille Samonte, TV5. Sir Paulo.
Hi, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Regarding lang dun sa results na inaantay natin, is it categorical to say now na yung mga inaantay, let's say yung sa Tubaran and then yung sa Shanghai, will no longer affect the final outcome? Kasi if you could proclaim by Tuesday, then is it safe to assume, sir, na wala na talaga silang impact dun sa 12 senators na ipoproklama possibly on Tuesday, sir?
At this point in time, of course, lagi ko nga pong sinasabi sa inyo, the basis for that will be the official canvas, as always. Projection-wise, yes, there is a possibility that they will not affect the national positions, given that Shanghai only accounts for 1,991 votes. The Tubaran special elections only accounts for 6,000 plus votes. Hindi pa po umabot tayo sa 10,000 votes dyan. So given the margins that we see right now, there is a projection. Again, unofficial, but it's a projection that we could proceed with the 12 without this remaining votes affecting the proceedings po.
Tapos, sir, yung sa Butig at saka sa Binidayan, sabay ba sila, sir, sa May 24 or are you arranging a different date for them?
We're still awaiting the decision of the Commission on Bank insofar as the Binadayan and Butig are concerned po. A pronouncement will be made regarding that.
All right. Last from my end, sir, there's a report online na circulating regarding sa alleged na pagtaas daw ng mobile phone sales in some areas of Mindanao. Some suspect, and the reports are saying that this may be caused by possible incidents of vote buying or vote selling. Will the COMELEC be also investigating these reports? And paano natin, sir, mape-prevent to in the future na biglang may mga taong nag-a-associate na, tumaas yung mobile phone sales, tapos mismong 1 day or 2 days after election, sir?
In itself, per se, coming not from the COMELEC, but coming from siguro a lawyer's point of view, the escalation of the purchases in itself does not automatically mean anomalies or crimes. In fact, hindi nga po krimen eh. Kung ganyan po kasi na merong pagbabawal sa escalation ng purchases, dapat naging krimen. But it's not a crime. But then again, we thank you for the information. And we are in close coordination with the National Telecommunications Commission. Hinihintay po namin din yung feedback nila. By the way po, we're in, sabi ko nga, close coordination. Lagi naman po silang nag-feedback sa amin. At in cases like this, I believe they would be the first to give a feedback on us kung meron po silang nade-detect na anomaly. Like the DICT yesterday. Hindi, kung makikita nyo po, para sa eleksyon na ito, ang COMELEC, because of prior coordination, last year pa, hindi po ito nangyari lang, we have already made coordinations with them. At yung reports po nila, they come in even without us asking from them. Look, DICT is reporting to us regularly. Kaya nga po na-report yung hacks. And I believe NTC will be doing that too. Kaya po siguro hintayin po namin yung official report nila regarding this and we will make a follow-through in case NTC deems the matter to be, a subject of investigation. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you po.
Thank you, Sir Paulo. Miss Camille Samonte, TV5, to be followed by Miss Clay Pardilla ng PTB4. Miss Camille.
Hello sir, good afternoon. Clarification lang sir dun sa tinanong ni Pao kanina dun sa nag-boom nga po yung pagtinda ng mga phone. Ano. Ang sinasabi po kasi sir dun sa article, sa area po ito ng Surigao del Sur. Pero sir, dun ba sa mga area na yon, mayroon din po ba kayo natanggap na mga report ng vote buying?
So far, ma'am, for Surigao del Sur, the PNP has not reported any untoward incident regarding that. And we're likewise basing din po sa assessment ng AFP. By the way, both AFP and PNP have their cyber watch divisions, and included po dito yung kanilang monitoring sa mga ganyang bagay, internet and telecommunications facility. And so far, until today, wala po kaming natatanggap na reports coming from them detecting suspicions or anomalies in these areas. But then again po, we will be coordinating with NTC as we have been doing in the past months.
Sir, last na lang from my end. Sir, is it a cause of concern ba sir yung nai-report po kahapon na yung attempt po nung pag-hack po nung COMELEC website? Dapat po ba siyang ikabahala or ano po ba so far yung stand po ng poll body dito?
Something to note po siguro, but not necessarily ikabahala. Makikita nyo po ang kasamahan po ng COMELEC, ang COMELEC at ang mga aming allied agencies. Please allow me to call them allied agencies. They have been preparing for these elections months and years ago. And part of that preparations and plans is to help COMELEC harden its websites, harden its physical facilities. Pinagtulong-tulungan po ito. That's why really it's not something for us to note, but not necessarily a concern to affect our mandate. Kasi magkakasama po kami at binabantayan po kami nila at kahit kami po nagbabantay. So it's really not a cause for concern, something to be alarmed about, not necessarily to. But we will look into this po. It's something that we need to prepare for in the coming elections.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Miss Camille. Miss Clay, tama ba? Pardilla, PTB4, to be followed by Mr. Gab Humilde, Daily Tribune.
Hi sir, one question lang po sa akin. Sir, safe to say po ba that COMELEC agrees for the additional honoraria and for what reason po?
Of course, the honoraria as envisioned by the Electoral Service Reform Act po, yan po yung kanilang sabihin na nating compensation sa hindi matatawarang paglilingkod. Okay. Unfortunately, dun po sa isolated incidents, again, accounting for 0.8% of the out of the 106,174 electoral boards, meron po sa kanilang naka-experience ng delay because of the VCM issues. And it would be unjust if we could not at the very least give additional honoraria to compensate for their, additional na pagod at yung delay na inabot po nila.
Sir, sorry, follow-up lang namin. Usually po ba, pag po may mga delays, magkano po yung naibibigay sa kanila?
Basing in 2019, I believe the figure then was 2,000 pesos if I'm not mistaken. That's 2019. There's no decision yet as to the 2022 elections.
Sir Neil Mercado, Inquirer.net.
Hi sir, good afternoon. About honoraria lang ulit sir. Ano po yung update so far ngayon sir? Nasaan po siya ngayon? Nasa COMELEC Anbang pa rin po ba siya?
Yes, sir. Because first, we have to clear that one first condition is the availability of funds. That's the first thing that we have to consider. Second, we have to make sure that any grant of the Commission for additional honoraria will be compliant with DBM rules, accounting rules, auditing rules, and COA rules. Lahat po ito, we will ensure that we will be fully compliant with that. Kaya nga po, nagtutuloy na kami ng usapan with DepEd to ensure compliance in all these rules po.
May timeline na po ba tayo dito? Because you said, I think last week na the COMELEC is welcoming this naman po. And also the DepEd has also sent their proposal, their call is 3,000 pesos, sir. So, May timeline na po ba kayo dito kung kailan ito lalampas sa COMELEC, yung proposal na ito?
Soonest po ito, sir, kasi hindi po namin pwedeng i-delay. Lahat po ito inaaral lang po. It's undergoing an assessment by the FSD, yung finance services namin po. Yun na lang naman pong hinihintay. Then the NBank will decide on it after all the recommendations have been submitted.
Sir, clarify ko lang yung about sa proclamation naman. Sir, Tuesday, is that a target or that is the day of the proclamation?
That's our optimistic projection, sir. Iyan po. Still, within our timelines na early next week. Yes, sir.
Last question, sir, yung Shanghai na lang po. Sir, may date na po ba tayong inaay for the special elections there?
Sir, really, that's the part where we could not set a date pa. Because it's dependent on the host country, China, allowing us to do so. Lockdown pa rin po sila, sir. Kasi kung katulad po ng Tubaran, may projected date na po kami, di ba? It's May 24 for purposes of planning. But Shanghai, it's really dependent po sa host country. Yan po yung complication that.
Okay, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you, Mr. Neil Mercado, Inquirer.net. Other matters, Mr. Dwight De Leon, Rappler, sir. Sir Dwight.
Hello po, good afternoon, Attorney Rex. Not referring to anyone specific, but just speaking in general sense, if someone misses the November deadline for the substitution of candidates via withdrawal, is there any possibility na yung person na yon ay maging nominee pa rin ng isang party list group even after the elections are over? Can you walk us through the process?
So for party list nominees po, it is covered by Resolution 10717. Okay? Kung titignan nyo po, it was promulgated way back August 18, 2021. Ayon po sa Section 12 po nung resolution type mentioned, and allow me to read. Section 11, I'm sorry. Withdrawal of nominations and substitutions of party list nominees. Withdrawal of nominations and substitution of nominees due to the withdrawal of the acceptance to the nomination shall be in writing and under oath and filed with the Law Department not later than November 15, 2021. Provided that no substitution shall be valid unless the party files with the Law Department a list of its substitute nominees, the certificates of nomination and acceptance of nomination of the substitute nominees, and an affidavit executed by the Secretary General and the Chairperson or President attesting that these substitute nominees possess all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications provided by law. Isa pang rule, kung meron man substitute, it should be placed last on the list. So kung titignan nyo po, Resolution 10717 provided for a deadline. However, patuloy po sa Section 12 naman po, meron din po kasi binabanggit, if the substitution will be on account of death or incapacity of the substituted nominees, even if it's filed beyond, no substitution shall be valid if filed beyond November 15, unless the list of nominees originally submitted has been exhausted due to, 1, death and or incapacity of the nominees. So these are the grounds for withdrawal, meron date, death and incapacity, walang date po dun sa sinasaad natin. But then again, all of these boils down kung meron pa bang natitirang nominees dun sa list. Kasi yun po yun eh. That's why the party list law requires them a minimum of 5 na party list nominees to be submitted to us. So kung sakali man pong merong mag-withdraw within the period, namatay, na-incapacitate, by succession, aakyat po yung remaining list in the nominees po.
Okay, sir, just to clarify, for example, na-proclaim yung mga party list groups, tapos may yung nominees ng isang party list group, lahat sila nag-withdraw. Can someone take over? Can someone be the first nominee and be the congressman or woman in the next Congress?
Thank you, sir. Perhaps it's not as simple as the rules stated. Kasi nga po, yun sa withdrawal, meron po tayong period. Sabi po yan sa Section 11. Yung wala pong period, even beyond November 15, it's due to death or incapacity. But then again, in both instances po, merong determination of validity and just cause ang Commission and Bank. Hinihiring po namin ito as much as possible. Kung meron po talagang valid ground to grant the substitution. Meron po nagaganap na hearing dyan, sir.
Okay, sir. And it will be tackled by, bali parang case ba siya na mapupunta sa isang division? Is ganun po ba yung para magiging process for that?
You are correct in stating that, sir. Yes po, ito po ay talagang magiging election matter po. Opo.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Dwight. Thank you, Director Rex. Thank you, friends from the media. That concludes our press briefing for today. Magandang hapon po. Maraming salamat.
Magandang hapon po. Mabuhay po ang Pilipinas.